Hello everyone, Kireth here, and I've got to ask the question, am I the only person enjoying Gran Turismo 7 right now? Look, don't get me wrong, I've made my criticism of Gran Turismo 7 in the past. In fact, on the run up to Gran Turismo 7 on YouTube, I made the most videos talking about Gran Turismo 7, analysing it, what kind of game it would be. And the biggest lesson I learned from doing that, and it was an incredible journey, was that I had really misunderstood the Gran Turismo community. So I was a very big Gran Turismo Sport player. I played over 500 hours last year, Gran Turismo Sport. Loved the competitive online aspect. Now, a lot of Gran Turismo fans from back in the day, if you're watching, you might be one of these OGs, really did not like Gran Turismo Sport. It did nothing for them. There wasn't enough of that old school Gran Turismo feeling of purchasing cars, upgrading them, actual genuine single player content. GT Sport had none of that. I did all the mission GT Sport at the end of the game. They really weren't very good. It wasn't curated. And there's a big diaspora of Gran Turismo fans that didn't like GT Sport and were really hoping that Gran Turismo 7 would be something for them. And I have to be honest, Gran Turismo 7 from a single player perspective does so much more right than GT Sport. There's a load of great stuff in there. And even from just playing with your mates, which I've done on this channel, we've done stuff like the cheap car challenges, just trying to break records with speeds and cars, just doing all kinds of weird stuff, driving around together, trying to work out the best lines on circuit. There is so much to do in Gran Turismo 7. Now, that's not to say, as I mentioned before, that Gran Turismo 7 is without flaws. There are loads of flaws in Gran Turismo 7, especially online. The fact that you can't save lobby settings, the fact that we still get these freezes in GT World Series, the fact that the daily race combos haven't really included dynamic weather. All these things are not great, but I've got to be honest, online never seemed to be the focus of Gran Turismo 7. I made a video in the run-up to Gran Turismo 7 saying, is Gran Turismo 7 just a remake of Gran Turismo 4? And I was still in this kind of headspace of a new Gran Turismo game must be all about online, it must be all about esports. And when I made that video, what really surprised me is the amount of comments I got saying, yeah, that sounds great. I really want to remake a Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo 4 was my favourite Gran Turismo game. And I think that's what Polyphony have really led into. Gran Turismo 7 is a very nostalgic game. If you remember the release trailer for Gran Turismo 7, it was purely nostalgic, literally recreating the shots in earlier Gran Turismo games. This was never going to be the next frontier of esports, revolutionising online multiplayer. That was the mandate, that was the objective for Gran Turismo Sport, and I think Gran Turismo Sport absolutely nailed it. But I don't think Gran Turismo Sport was the sales success necessarily that Sony and PD wanted. And here's the big point, and by the way, make sure to like, subscribe to this channel if you've enjoyed the video so far, want to see more of this. Here is the big point. Do you know in Gran Turismo Sport, a game literally named after online sport mode, do you know how many players didn't do a single online sport mode race? 84% of Gran Turismo Sport players did not do a single sport mode online race. If you're watching this and you're someone who's followed me since the GT Sport Online days, we are a minority. Even the fact that I have a wheel is such a niche within a niche thing for the player base of PlayStation, and is a tiny minority, and we should remember that. Gran Turismo is a game that you can give your younger cousins, you can give your friends, and just with a controller and a PlayStation, they can get into the love of racing, they can get into car culture. Gran Turismo 7 will go on discount. You will be able to play on a cheap PlayStation 4, relatively cheap, and you'll be able to share that love of motorsport in such an accessible way. 84% of GT Sport players did not do a single online race. So only 16% of players did. If you were watching and you're an online racer, we're in that 16% minority. Now think again about Gran Turismo 7. Is it catered towards single player or online? It's definitely catered towards single player. A lot of the content is about single player. Even you can say stuff like scapes, making liveries. That's all stuff you can do by yourself in single player. So they've definitely knuckled down on the OG Gran Turismo fans they've accumulated, they've earned through Gran Turismo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and they're catering to them, and that's absolutely great and fine. And on this channel I'm really leaning into it, and I'm discovering a love of Gran Turismo that I'd basically forgotten. I really got into these games through Forza Motorsport 3. I had GT4 as well, but Forza Motorsport 3 was a big one for me. I did it entirely in single player. I did it with no ABS, no TC, at my own pace, and I absolutely loved it. And that's what really got me into karting. It's what got me into eventually online racing. That's what kindled it for me. So I think we perhaps should remember this. Let me know in the comments, has this video shown some other sides of the arguments to you? Do you not agree with what I'm saying? Again, I don't delete any comments ever. Just let me know what you think in the comments. We can all kind of see what the opinion is about Gran Turismo 7. But having done a lot of that research in the run-up to Gran Turismo 7, understanding that there's a huge body of Gran Turismo fans who really enjoy the single-player content, other things in the game, I've on this channel really lent into that with the cheap car challenges, the other stuff we've done with Kireth Esports, just messing around, having fun in the game, doing my wet weather kind of races, how crazy can we make the race, that kind of stuff. And I'm really, really, really enjoying it, tuning up my Cappuccino, buying the Countach and trying to make that a nice track car. I'm absolutely loving it. And ultimately, if I want to do loads and loads of competitive online multiplayer and not have crashes, well, I've got an iRacing subscription. I've got a wheel and an iRacing subscription. I can go there. That is absolutely bulletproof. That is the standard for online competitive racing. Anything in GT7 really is a kind of bonus. And yeah, there's going to be people upset. If you're a World Tour driver and you loved Gran Turismo Sport because the whole game was basically catered around you and the World Tour, and you featured in Gran Turismo 7 as an in-game driver, but the game now doesn't cater to you as much, you're not a priority, then that's you've been left out, and that's not great for you. But it's for a reason, I think, to cater for a much greater body of players, the casual players who want to just drive, want to have fun, want to upgrade, want to experiment, want to tune, want to feel like a hero, winning races by upgrading their cars, and not get into this grind of online where you're never really the hero. Unless you're the World Tour champion, you're never really the hero online. You're never really going to win every single race, and there's always going to be someone faster than you. And I think that, at the crux of it, is what turns a lot of people off. So make sure to like and subscribe. Please really do subscribe, by the way, if you've enjoyed this video. It does help the channel massively. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I'm just giving another opinion here. I think it's important I do that because I've made more Gran Turismo 7 videos probably than anyone else in the world, maybe, especially in the run-up. So I thought I'd share that with you, and I hope you enjoyed it. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.